I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
Shockwaves across Hollywood tonight after ABC announced it was indefinitely pulling Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air.
They told us the cancel culture was the left's weapon. But look around. It's the right doing the canceling now. The FCC chair, a Trump ally, attacks Kimmel on a mega podcast.
I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct and take action, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
Within hours, Nexstar pulls his show. Billions of dollars and political favors hanging in the balance. The timing, shady.
It's not the fragility of audiences, it's the fragility of leaders. Comedy doesn't change the world, but it's a bellwether. We're the banana peel in the coal mine. When a society is under threat, comedians are the ones who get sent away first.
This isn't about Jimmy Kimmel. It's about the government turning into a mob to silence dissent.
This morning, President Trump is suggesting the Federal Communications Commission should take licenses away from broadcasters that are repeatedly critical of him.
About power crushing free speech.
We all see where this is going, correct? It's managed media. You can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian criminal administration in the Oval Office.
Authoritarians don't just come for comedians.
We're not done yet.
They come for democracy itself. We're the Lincoln Project. We won't quit. Join us.
What's up, everybody? We are also one of the ones that will not shut the fuck up. Donald Trump and his entire administration could eat an entire bag of dicks if they think we're going to be silent. So we are in this position now because a Nazi was shot by, at this point, we don't even know who. It was not Tyler Robinson. Most likely he was taken out by his own people or probably another Trump supporter, because that seems to be the typical MO in this country. Right on right violence is what we've been calling it. As a result of Charlie Kirk's, I don't even know what you want to call it, murder, assassination.
He was killed.
Set up.
Murder. It's a murder. He was murdered.
Right. And that ridiculous WWE show, or what they called a memorial, which was just a giant grift, guys. The entire time they had merch, stuff, text so-and-so for merch.
What did you just tell me before the show?
Bro, we just found out before the show. They sold tickets. To a memorial. How fucking sick.
Well, they had to pay for the pyrotechnics somehow.
Bro, like, you guys are filthy rich. You're billionaires, and you're charging morons. Which, honestly, you deserve to have your money taken at this point. But you honestly looked at your supporters and goes, we're going to just bleed 65,000 people out of some money. We're going to get merch. We're going to sell Trump Bibles. We're going to sell sneakers and T-shirts. Because, yeah, his wife has T-shirts. The guy's not even, is he in the ground yet? I don't even know. Like, has he been buried? Like, they're piecing up Charlie Kirk's empire.
Wait a minute.
I don't
Did
even
they
know
have an actual funeral? They did, right?
I don't know. But his own parents, and I believe he has a sister, were not even, from what I understand, they didn't speak. I don't even think they were in attendance. And MAGA's still running.
It wasn't for him.
No, it was not for Charlie Kirk, dude. That was a fascist,
it was a rally.
Nazi fucking... Yeah, it was like a giant stadium filled with KKK members is what it was. It was insane. It was the most ridiculous thing. And I'm sorry, that woman, that was the fakest performance. Your husband, the love of your life, just got murdered.
Let me dab my eyes.
Right. She's talking, then she'd be like, and then she'd look up to heaven and be like, one of those things. Oh, heaven.
Words.
Oh, God,
dab
Jesus.
Eyes. Pure
Right.
Jesus.
And then she's like, that young man, that young man. I'm like, oh my God, how are people watching this and going, yeah. I'm so over it, bro. I'm so over it. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We are going to talk about Donald Trump's attack on the Constitution. Starts with free speech and just goes from there. And yes, you Second Amendment idiots. I almost said a really bad word there. They're coming after your guns eventually, too. So just be prepared, all you gun nuts. And when we've been finding out very, very quickly that they've never been about free speech. They are for free, white, right-wing speech. Anything negative about Donald Trump or Israel is they want to make it illegal. They want to make it illegal. Donald Trump is making news organizations sign a pledge saying that you can't report anything negative and that they have to approve the stuff that goes out.
And let's just face it, Donald Trump isn't approving it. They appointed someone who will approve it, which means they appointed someone to be a minister of approving official news messages. It's almost like history is repeating itself.
It is. It is. I actually made a video about that today, dude. I made a video about that today. And what I did is I kind of did a generic story, which sounded like the rise of Donald Trump. But I was actually describing at the end, I made sure everybody knew that I was actually describing the rise of Adolf Hitler and how serious this is. History is repeating itself. We're not doing a damn thing to stop it. We're not. As a country, we are sitting on our asses trying to go about our lives, pretending that everything's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay, guys. We may get to a better place eventually, but we have years of hell before that. So I think everybody needs to really take a look in the mirror and be like, are you ready for this or not? Because if you're not, please just step aside and we got work to do. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have time to mess around anymore. This is like a 9-alarm fire. You know what I mean? We got Stephen Miller on stage quite literally almost plagiarizing Joseph Goebbels' speech called The Storm is Coming, I think the name of it. I looked it up earlier today. It's too much. It's too much. And then Tom Homan goes on TV. He's like, oh, well, they want to call us Nazis. Yes! Yes!
Well, look. If you're going to deem the concept of being anti-fascist a hate group, then you're going to say those are the bad guys, then you are a fascist.
Bro,
you are all the things that we stand opposed to. And if that makes us your enemy, fine. Yeah. That's the way it's got to be. I'm proud to be the enemy of fascism.
Bro, Antifa has been a proud American tradition since 1942. Antifa for life. Fuck you fascists. Fuck you Nazis. We don't like Nazis in this country. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, but this country seems to like Nazis, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah. We'll just leave it
Well,
at that.
How about this? We have a long history. We've shown that video a million times about that Nazi rally.
1939, I think it was.
That's not the only time we've had Nazis showing up in public in rallies. Now we have them marching in the streets. Mm-hmm. And the reason is, you see, this is the thing. In that video from the Lincoln Project, they talk, there's the footage of Trump saying he's going to bring free speech back to America. What he meant when he said that was a dog whistle to the racist, that he's going to let people be openly racist and shitty again.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing now, because now we're entering a new age of censorship between what you said, Jeremy, and what was in that video and stuff I'm going to show you tonight. We're entering a phase of direct challenges to free speech and what the limits of free speech now are. Before, the limits of free speech were hate speech and dangerous speech. You can't call someone the N-word in public and expect it to go over well. Not that you're going to get arrested for it.
Deserve to get punched in the face for that one.
Hate speech that leads to some bad action against people is not protected speech, just like yelling fire in a theater.
Right.
What they're doing now is they are censoring truth and they are censoring criticism.
Right, like you can't walk up and say, somebody and say, "I'm gonna kill you." That's not legal. You can't threaten to murder somebody. Like, so free speech has its limits, obviously. But like Mike said, they're not going after hate speech. They're going after leftist speech. They're going after speech that is negative about Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump, instead of just, I don't know, being a better fucking leader, you know what I mean, or hiring qualified people to run the country for him while he plays golf,
like
I wouldn't even complain about. Right, exactly. Now we're stuck with people like that. But you know what? Before we get into the serious stuff tonight, I do want to share something. Well, honestly, this is serious too, because maybe Donald Trump was right about one thing. He says he's right about everything, but
he's got to be right once in a while, right?
He might actually be right about Venezuela, guys. He posted a video today and this is from his True Social feed, and of course I'm being sarcastic, and once you see this, you're gonna laugh your asses off. This guy, this is why nobody takes it seriously. This guy posted this video saying, top secret. Like they're breaking something. And supposedly it's Venezuelan militia training. Okay? So.
Now, look, it's got to be satire, right? Like, is this his
No, dude, he doesn't have a sense of humor. He doesn't have a sense of humor.
I don't understand. That's what I don't get.
Like, there's no just kidding at the end of the sentence. Like,
no,
what?
Like,
just watch this.
Someone that's known for humor.
I guarantee Donald Trump is going to use this video to justify invading fucking Venezuela, bro. Watch this shit. Bro.
And like everyone in the video, you could hear people laughing and having a good time. Like there's no way.
Bro.
Even if this is real to some degree, the president of the United States cannot be.
I'm not laughing at the ladies, please. I'm not laughing at the ladies. I'm laughing at his caption. His top secret video of Venezuela militia. They are a threat. And it's just like 4 women in yoga pants doing some kind of exercise.
But like to your point, he doesn't have any sense of humor. So like if he was this would be in bad taste, even if he was making a joke going, look at these Venezuelans, they're no threat to us, because that alone would be a form of antagonization between one world leader to another.
Right.
But like he doesn't have that sense of humor. So I don't know. Who the hell knows what he thinks?
I just found it hilarious though. But all right, so let's
all right.
Why we are here. Let me go ahead and play this video to introduce everything. In this sentence, Donald Trump says he both believes in free speech and that negative things said about him should be illegal. Not sure how that works, but here we go.
Follow up on Charlie Kirk. There's been a lot of talk about free speech this week. Do you see a difference between cancel culture and consequence culture?
I mean, your question's a little trick question.
I'm a
it's not a trick question. You're a fucking idiot.
At the same time, when you have networks where I won an election, like in counties, I guess it's 2,600 to 525. That's called landslide.
What is he looking at? Like he's looking at a number.
Two. When you have that kind of that level of popularity or voter support, as I did in the last election, and yet 97 and 94%, different numbers. You see different numbers with different stats. But 97, 94,
different numbers
95,
with different stats.
96% of the people are against me in the sense of the newscasts are against me. The stories are 97% bad.
Yeah,
so they gave me 97.
And the worm is still starving.
Great story, and they'll make it bad. See, I think that's really illegal, personally.
Wait. One thing I'm going to say, the only thing I'm going to say about that whole video is you don't get to think something's illegal personally.
Right.
You don't get to choose what's illegal or not, okay? And that is the essence of this, is when you have someone who ascends to the level of dictator, which Donald Trump has, it becomes more than just what is legal and not legal. It is what will we allow to be said against the regime. Because when he talks about 97% negative coverage, he thinks he won that election in a landslide. He thinks he's the most loved person in the history of the universe.
Does think that. He does think
That's called being an egomaniac, narcissist, lunatic. But in reality, no matter who you are, if you're a leader and you are, even if you're not elected by the people, fine. But especially if you're elected by people to lead, criticism of you is the most sacred right that those people have. Because if you're there on behest of the people for them, who else is supposed to hold you accountable? Not you, not yourself.
I got a comment on Instagram from N. Garner Poetry. She says his response has nothing to do with the question. What the hell?
Because he
like
doesn't
every
understand the question. Your question's a trick question. No, you just don't understand. He's too dumb to understand the question of which ice pop would you like. Like when he was a kid, they weren't like, would you like the cherry one or the orange one? They were like, will you like a blue one? And he was like, me like blue. Like he couldn't even figure out whatever. Anyway.
Dude, he can't even. We have a president that's illiterate. He can't even read. He can't even read.
God.
We have a moron running the office who thinks he knows everything. That's the problem. He thinks he knows. He thinks because he has common sense, which we'll talk about later, when he's talking about vaccines and shit. And like, call me crazy, but I'm not going to take medical advice from the guy that told me to inject disinfectant into my body to kill COVID or shine a UV light up my asshole.
Oh, the UV light. Oh, God.
Yeah. Like, seriously, why would I even consider taking medical advice from that guy as opposed to a doctor?
I distinctly remember watching that press conference when he said that. And, like, everyone there that was on camera was like...
Yeah, it's how do you even respond to that? Like, it's like...
Anyway.
Like some days I feel like screaming.
All right, so...
Let's talk about it. Because this is disturbing because it goes back to, like we always talk about, Nazis.
And when when I get on a topic, I provide some information, so hang in there. So first I want to show 2 cartoons recently that perfectly explain what's going on because usual, comedians, cartoonists, satirists, comics are the people that have always spoken out politically. Okay, they are the ones that have always been targeted, the ones that are the canary in the coal mine, if you will. They're the ones that will push the boundaries and see how far fascists
I like that
will
last
allow.
one. That's actually
that's a good one. So this all started in Nazi Germany. I mean, obviously propaganda has been around as long as there's been governments, but for our sake of argument, because of the parallels, let's start in Nazi Germany, 1933. Joseph Goebbels appointed the Minister of Propaganda. You're going to see his name pop up here and there.
A.K.A. Stephen Miller.
A.K.A. Stephen Miller. They even look alike, which is terrifying.
They really
So
do.
in 33, the first concentration camps opened. The Gestapo is established. We like to call them ICE. Nazi book burning campaigns begin. One might equate that to the dismantling of the public education system here. Rally and victory held at Nuremberg, which smells a lot like the Charlie Kirk Memorial.
Doesn't it?
President Hindenburg dies, Hitler becomes Führer, and Berlin hosts the Olympic Games, and we have the full-fledged Nazi party. But the important thing is the Minister of Propaganda. Okay, what is that job? Well, propaganda is the supplantation of lies from truth. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I want you to believe, what I want you to think is real, and anything that contradicts that, that's going to be illegal. That's where this comes from. So let's talk about the parallels. What is it like when Trump gets upset that people make fun of him? Well, Herr Goebbels angered by anti-Nazi wit. Comedians banned for humorous remarks on leaders. This is from a newspaper back in the day. Berlin, February 4th. When propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels yesterday blasted Germany's cafe society, he called it, quote, society rabble and intellectual snobs, unquote, for laughing at comedians who make Nazi leaders the butts of their jokes. Goebbels turned his anger upon the, quote, society rabble after announcing that 5 German actors had been banned from the stage for publicly ridiculing Nazi party and state functionaries. He denied that there was any lack of humor in Nazi Germany, but said that it was and clean.
Because we all know Nazi Germany is known for their bustling comedy scene.
Just like Donald Trump is known for his sharp wit. Look,
yeah, you couldn't walk around Nazi Germany without running into a comedy club.
Jimmy Kimmel comes back to the air tonight, and I truly hope he goes on air and immediately just says, fuck Donald Trump, and walks off stage. But I don't care what he does. The reason I don't care what he does is because it's not about him. It's about the attack on what he does, which is bring irony and comedy to dark topics, especially politics and our leaders. There's a history of late night shows making fun of presidents. It's called What Humor Is and What Political Commentary Is. If you don't make fun of it, you'll all go crazy and kill each other. Okay? But let's keep going. Where did Nazi censorship go and what did it look like? Also, anyone who likes to pretend that the Nazis weren't Christians, there's a direct piece of art from a newspaper that they were promoting as propaganda for a pro-Nazi cause. Examples of Nazi censorship included the banning and burning of books deemed un-German, taking over or shutting down independent newspapers, controlling content in media like radio and film, and censoring letters written by soldiers during World War II. The regime also banned and boycotted Jewish composers and music considered degenerate, replacing it with approved Aryan music.
Oh, God. That's like if Donald Trump banned dude, I would lose my motherfucking mind. If they ban hip hop, I'm moving to fucking Mexico, bro. I will be a Mexican.
I don't think we're going to get to that point, but what they're going to do is ban the content of music, which will necessarily ban things like hip hop and reggae and other stuff that often speaks to political inequity. But here we go. Here's more. Nazis shut down or took control of anti-Nazi newspapers that controlled the information published in all remaining newspapers. The regime gained authority over radio, film, and newsreels, ensuring they promoted Nazi ideology and suppressing dissenting views. Books by authors like Karl Marx, I'm going to go with Bertolt Brecht and Helen Keller, as well as any work considered un-German, were banned and publicly burned. Nazis banned music by Jewish composers and jazz, instead promoting music by approved Aryan composers like Wagner. During World War II, soldiers' letters were censored to prevent the spread of negative views or anti-Nazi sentiments.
Jesus Christ.
The Nazis controlled the theater productions, only allowing those that align with their ideology. So hopefully you start to see the parallels with today's technology.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about the tech is.
I'll wait till I get to the Russian aspect of today's lesson. So here's one that is close to our heart: children's books, or PragerU. Propaganda was used to influence children, such as the book Der Giftpilz, the poisonous mushroom, which portrayed Jewish people as dangerous and harmful. So while that was anti-immigrant and anti-population propaganda, it's very similar to rewriting history to say that slaves, learn job skills. Jeremy, your mic is dead.
God damn it. They're quite literally writing the 1930s and 1940s playbook, guys.
Yep, they're not even varying it.
No, it's quite literally page for page. It's page for page.
Let's look at some of the things Trump has said and done recently. Some of it we covered in the video, but I'll go over it. Here's a tweet, or whatever the hell it's called nowadays, that a lot of people think might have meant to be a text message.
That's what I thought, anyway.
To Pam Bondi. But I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but suffice to say, the important part is where it says, Lindsay is a really good lawyer and likes you a lot. We can't deny any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. Meaning, directly from Donald Trump to his attorney general, I don't like the criticism of us. Our reputation is starting to suffer. People don't like us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What could we do about that? Okay.
I don't know. Not be a fascist? Maybe. I don't know. Just the wild guess here.
Here's one that we just saw in the video. I read someplace that the networks were 97% against me. I get 97% negative, and yet I won it easily. I won all 7 swing states. The thing about this is, let's say he won and everything's great and there was a mandate. The news coverage is based on polling data since the election. So all the information that people have on polling and what his numbers are since he was elected. So even if people elected him, the numbers are going down now, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
How about this one? I think they should be taking their license away. Or Trump calls critical media coverage of him illegal and no longer free speech. Those are the words our president used when talking about a free and fair press.
And
whose job it is to hold the president and any other elected official accountable.
Yeah, you know what pisses me off about this is MAGA. They're free speech, free speech, free speech. And then as soon as Donald Trump gets Jimmy Kimmel fired, they're like, wah! You know what I mean? Like, they don't, there's no fucking line with these people. There's no line. They were like celebrating. They were literally shitting themselves celebrating that Jimmy Kimmel got fired over what was barely offensive. I can't even call it offensive. The joke was he played a video of Donald Trump saying, they asked him about how he's doing about Charlie Kirk's death, and he's like, oh, I think I'm okay. By the way, we're starting construction on my new ballroom.
Look, we got big
the video
trucks.
clip that he played.
We got big trucks.
We got big trucks. They let me steer them.
Remember when he drove the garbage truck? Motherfucker.
He couldn't get in.
I can't believe that happened, and it wasn't immediately like, we're done with this guy.
No, yeah, like I said, there's no line with these people. There's no line. They cry and bitch and moan about rights and this and that and the other thing, but as soon as they take rights away from, I don't know, people that aren't white, They cheer. They cheer. Separating families.
look,
they're happy about it.
Look, all you need to know about that is all the other. Look at the NRA, for example. The NRA was for gun laws when the Black Panther Party started showing up to protests armed with weapons. Okay, so the right knows what these rights are. It understands the implications of them, and it understands very clearly who they want to benefit from the rights and who they want to not benefit from these rights.
Right. Yeah.
So let's go to Russia because
now we have social media to worry about.
Exactly. The Nazi parallel is important because the playbook is there. But Russia, and some of the information I have, we're not talking about KGB Russia. Everything that I have on them right now is from recently, in the last year to a couple of years. Okay? And this is where it starts to get scary. The decimation of independent media. Since February 2022, nearly all independent media outlets have been banned, blocked, or declared foreign agents or undesirable organizations. The media landscape is now dominated by state-owned or Kremlin-allied outlets that spread official government narratives and propaganda. Now, even if Trump doesn't ban them, the other day, maybe it was today, I don't remember, maybe it was yesterday, CNN was asking him a question. Trump cut him off, said, "You're CNN, you're fake news," next, and then asked Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend to follow up. My point is, he doesn't need to do the outright ban. He could just ignore them and ridicule them and not answer their questions. That's effectively the same thing.
Yep.
Next.
This is a nightmare. It's a nightmare, dude.
Oh, it gets worse. Arrests of journalists. That will be coming soon. In 2024, Russian authorities arrested multiple journalists on charges of extremism or spreading false information. In March 2024, 6 journalists were arrested, including Antonio Favoraskia, who filmed the last video of opposition leader Alexei Navalny. How about this? This is where we're getting a little scared now. Intensified online crackdowns. Since the invasion of Ukraine, online censorship has escalated significantly. Online resources are blocked, throttled, or subjected to shutdowns, making it increasingly difficult for Russians to access independent information. Authorities increasingly use digital technology for surveillance and control, with some referring to as cyber gulag. Now, we are not there yet. But what you need to understand is
Palantir.
The rich people own the internet companies. Palantir has all of our data, and together they are going to do what the IDF does, what Russia does, and what China does, and they are going to create their own media blackout so that the only thing you see on the internet is what they scrub clean and allow.
I mean, we could be banned tomorrow, guys, or in jail. Mike and I. I mean, seriously, what we do, we are independent media.
You know what's
we
funny you
talk
say that?
mad shit about the Trump
That's
administration.
so funny you say that. Someone at work today, I hadn't spoken to in a few days, and they were like, "I got a question." Yeah, like, are you like a terrorist now? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're on our side. But they were like, I don't know. Like, technically, what you do with your show, is that considered terrorism? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't get the memo. I don't know where the line is drawn, but maybe.
We are terrorists. Yeah. I even said, dude, I fucking posted, after they said that Antifa bullshit, I posted on Facebook and tagged the FBI. I was like, all right, you got me. Yep. I am the super supreme almighty leader of Antifa.
The Grand Wizard of Antifa.
You know what I mean? It's like such a joke. All right, first of all, you're going to have to arrest half of the fucking country, if not more. Good luck. Good luck with that. You don't have the staff to arrest that many people.
You don't have the cognitive capacity.
Yeah, you guys are morons.
All right, we got more. New extremist content law from 2025. Listen to this one. It is very close to something that they are going to start doing, especially when they declared Antifa a terrorist organization. Listen to the language here. In July of 2025, President Putin signed a new law allowing for fines against anyone who, quote, knowingly searches for or accesses online content deemed extremist. They didn't block it. They're allowing you to search for it so they can set an example of you and fine you. The law took effect on September 1st, 2025, and broad wording allows for arbitrary enforcement, raising fears of widespread digital surveillance. Now, here's the next step after that. control over apps and data. Right now, our government continues to pressure foreign and Russian tech companies to store and share user data with law enforcement agencies, ostensibly for counterterrorism purposes. Several apps, including Viper, Signal, and Discord, have been blocked for non-compliance. Now, here's the next step. CEOs of Discord, Steam, Twitch, and Reddit will be testifying before Congress on, quote, left-wing radicalization and incitement allegations.
Oh, my God, dude.
And the last stage, because now TikTok is officially going to be, while not state-run,
Delete it.
State-approved
Uninstall
media.
it.
Trump names the Ellisons and Murdochs among the American right-wing billionaires who will now help him control TikTok. Why does that name Murdoch sound familiar? I don't know, because they control Fox News, which got sued for $1 billion for basically causing Trump to become president based on lies.
Yeah.
So we now have the direct path and the arrow pointing at the end result of what Trump is doing when he declares Antifa a terrorist organization. They get control of TikTok and they start limiting what you can do and search and think and say.
Right.
Fascism's here, ladies and gentlemen.
Or they'll just ban us off the app altogether. You know what I mean? Or, like they said in one of the previous slides, they will allow us to continue to say what we say and then target us for what we say. I have already uninstalled TikTok. I will not be uploading a single video to TikTok from here on out. I felt safer with TikTok when China owned it. And let me explain why. Oracle is involved. For those of you guys who don't know, Oracle started off as Project Oracle, a CIA surveillance op. They ran surveillance operations in foreign countries. 4 foreign countries. Okay, so they were a CIA-based operation that did surveillance. And they are now involved in TikTok. Delete TikTok. Do not upload a goddamn thing to it. I would highly recommend I have uninstalled it. I didn't delete my account, but it is no longer on my phone. It is not on my computer, and it will never be again until it no longer is in the hands of Nazis. I highly recommend it. They will use TikTok as a weapon to target you. You could post a video and they get a knock on your door from the feds.
So it's interesting because, so before the show, Jeremy, you and I were talking briefly. I mentioned about how I had a conversation with my HR director today. And I'm not going to go too deep into it, but needless to say, they were concerned about how they go on TikTok to watch videos. They don't have followers. They don't care about any of that. They just use TikTok. And they were like, well, how would anything affect me with China giving control over to the U.S. and it being controlled by Fox and under the guidance of the administration? And then she's like, well, how would it matter? And I said, well, if you like a video that they programmed into their algorithm is of a subject matter you don't like, you are now on their list of potential suspects. If you comment on something and that comment is, yay, ha, 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 that's positive, suddenly you're on a list. And she was like, oh,
I know I'm on a list, bro. I did a stream in front of the White House yelling "fuck Charlie Kirk" in front of the cops. I did a stream in front of the Heritage Foundation where I was literally flipping them off to their camera and telling them to go fuck themselves.
Jeremy, question about it. Isn't that Larry Ellison's company?
I was going to say that. I couldn't remember if Larry Ellison was Oracle or not. I believe that is. But no, Oracle's bad news, guys. It's bad news, and they will use it. My worst fear, and maybe this is, I don't know how all this tech shit works. Maybe I'm just a paranoid stoner. I don't know. My worst fear is if TikTok's on your phone, do they have access to everything else? Because when you agree to terms and conditions, what are the 2 things that you have to do? You have to give them access to your mic, and you have to give them access to your camera. You have to give them permission
to listen and watch you.
Right. Do you want the government hearing and seeing everything on your phone? Every text message, every email. And again, maybe I'm being paranoid, or maybe I'm just thinking outside the box a little bit here, but to me, it doesn't seem like they want to buy TikTok just to control TikTok. To me, it seems like a way to get into people's devices. Do you know what I mean? And again, Maybe somebody can just say, hey, that's not possible. But until then, I'm going to assume it is.
Yeah,
I will not be getting it.
The reason that no one could say it's not possible is because that's literally what that's for.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, you literally
There's
give
no
permission.
other reason. So, all right. So, say I download a game called, Pinky Crystal Happy Hour, and it gives you. Why the fuck does Pinky Crystal Happy Hour
Right.
need my camera? Need to make posts to my,
Right.
Why does it need the access?
Or your location. You know what I mean? Like no, I'm good.
Unless it's one of those geo games, you don't need my location. You don't need my camera. You don't need my microphone. So if they're not selling data, which we all know they are, and then what are they doing? And what is that data going for? It's not to make our lives easier. No one buys people's personal data, which your browsing history, your conversations. We got to stop thinking about personal data as just our social security number and our address.
Your digital footprint.
Your digital footprint has more information and it's more useful. And again, I'm not talking about losing your credit card information online. You are more valuable as a commodity, okay? And the more data they can collect off the things you like, the things you don't like, the things you're afraid of, the things you're not afraid of, the people you don't like, the more data they collect on that, the more data they could sell to data brokers.
Yeah, I'm already starting to think Meta is already doing it.
They're all doing it. They're all doing it.
I had a conversation with somebody about a product I was looking at a store, and then the next thing I know, on my Instagram and Facebook feeds, I'm getting ads for similar products. So it's not too far-fetched to think that this is already happening. But again, TikTok will be a propaganda machine, and the people that are into politics but are into TikTok are not going to know this is happening. They're just going to eventually start being brainwashed like the rest of the country. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's how it happens. You keep seeing the same content over and over. That's why propaganda is effective. It's repetitive. If you keep hearing something over and over and over and over and over again, some people are going to start to believe that it's true. Mostly the dumb ones, but
again,
it happens.
All you need to do is break this down for one generation, and then you create an entire generation of slave-minded morons.
Right.
That's it.
We already have
what they're trying to do. That's called Gen Z men right now. White men in Gen Z. You even have Joe Rogan now. You even lost Joe Rogan, who helped groom all those Gen Z men.
Right.
Think about that.
I mean, at least we don't have to worry about Charlie Kirk grooming anymore, man. Sorry, I had to throw that out there because that's what he did. He went to colleges and a college dropout, racist piece of shit, went to colleges to tell your kids not to go to college because they're indoctrination centers. Just because Charlie Kirk couldn't make it through community college doesn't mean your kids shouldn't either. You should just, go to school, get smart. Don't end up like me and have
One of my
trouble
favorite
finding the words.
One of my favorite things recently about the Kirk thing with what's her name, his wife, is that she killed feminism. Let me tell you, she's got several degrees. She's worth $12 million. She's the head of a multi-million-dollar corporation right now.
Mm-hmm.
All of which is the product of feminism. So these people, again, still don't know what they're fighting against.
Yeah, I did so much digging, and I did a video on it today about her family and her. One, we found that Romanian Angels Ministry thing, which is real, where she and the ministry were accused of child and organ trafficking to places like, I don't know, Israel. And then come to find out, what is she doing now? I forget. Oh, man, never mind. I forget why I was going to go with that. But, yeah, she's just a miserable
Sheldon,
human
you're
being.
right.
Back when we can get universal health care, right? There's hope. There's hope. We'll start with Kimmel. We'll take it. We'll take the small wins. Okay?
I gotta tell you, I
wins.
have never been a fan of late night comedy. When it comes to comedy, I'm very weird. I don't find most things funny.
Mm-hmm.
I just never really found any late night guy funny. But I'll tell you right now, if I still paid for cable, I would watch Kimmel Tonight.
Yeah, I
would.
Yeah,
just as a show of solidarity.
I haven't had cable in forever.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's move on to Antifa, the terrorist organization.
Well, I do have one thing to remind people about Antifa when it comes to Nazis, just for one last tie back.
Little refresher.
Adolf Hitler had Antifa arrested. He had members of the original anti-fascist anti-fascist action arrested as one of the very first actions he made after taking power in 1933. It was the beginning of the Nazi regime.
Right.
If you are saying that the anti-fascists are the bad guys,
yeah, guess what you are?
Come on.
Yeah, you are a Nazi. Congratulations, MAGA. If that's what you wanted, I guess congratulations. If
Why
not,
do they call us Nazis?
Right. I mean, Tom, that's what pisses me off when Tom Homan says it, bro. We literally showed a video. We literally showed a video of that motherfucker doing a Nazi salute at a Turning Point USA rally, I believe it was.
No one cares. No one
It
cares.
was something like that. You know what I mean? We literally saw you do a Nazi salute, and you're upset because we're calling you Nazis. Don't do Nazi salutes, and we will maybe don't do Nazi things like, I don't know, build concentration camps and then make merch, which is sick. That's disgusting.
Ooh, Sheldon makes a good point here. Also, Turning Point placed a woman as CEO, which is contradictory of itself. They also believe in DEI because of Candace Owens. DEI for me, not thee. Yep.
Bro, I realized one really big thing about racism. Why white people hate DEI. Why racist white people hate DEI. They would rather, and Donald Trump's cabinet is a perfect example of this, they would rather have less qualified, moronic white people doing jobs that they're not qualified for, as opposed to any person of color that could very well be much more qualified. They just can't fathom that a black person or a Latino person or an Asian person, you know what I mean? They just can't fathom that they're smarter than they are.
Charlie Kirk said he wants all his pilots to look like the same white guy. He doesn't want to see anyone that doesn't look like a white guy be a pilot. Okay.
Yeah, the guy's disgusting.
So wait, if the plane was falling out of the sky, Mr. Kirk, okay, and the pilot and the co-pilot dropped dead, but there was someone in there, a combat fucking war veteran fighter pilot, and they were black, would you be like, no, I'd rather die.
I'd rather die. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, when the plane's crashing, I'm sure the last thing you're worried about is the race of the person. It's just, racism is for idiots. It really is. People that have nothing going for themselves, they can't accept the fact they're not special at all, even though their mommies told them they always were. And then they're holding on to the fact that, they're holding on to this myth that white people are somehow superior to others, even though they live in a fucking trailer and have 13 kids running around with full diapers.
Your whiteness makes you better than anyone else's blackness. You have to try not at all to succeed. You don't have to put any effort in. You go, there's someone that is lower than me. I have the worst job in the world. I am poor. My employer treats me like shit. I have nothing to show for it, but at least there's someone under me.
Yeah. So
that's all racism is.
Let's show you. I have a video of Caroline Levitt. We can watch KK Caroline go ahead and talk to us about how they're designating Antifa a terrorist organization. Again, Antifa is not a real group. It is not funded by George Soros or anybody else.
I am anti-racist. There is no organization called anti-racism. I am anti-bigot. There is no organization called anti-bigotry. I am anti-fascist because I oppose the idea and implementation of fascism into my life.
That's what's crazy? I've realized that Trump supporters don't have a clue what Antifa means. I honestly think that Trump supporters think like Antifa is a movement named after a black woman or something like that. Like, that's how stupid these people are. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, Antifa. Yeah, right. So I honestly think that's what they don't understand. That. Plus, here's the problem. They know what a Nazi is, but they're dumb, so they don't know what fascism is. So when they say Donald Trump is a fascist, well, I love Donald Trump, so I must love fascism too. This is how stupid these people are. So we have to start calling them their N-word, Nazi, on a regular basis. Nazi should come out of our mouth every time we talk about Donald Trump, his supporters, or his cabinet. We need everybody in the world to know they are fucking Nazis, not fascist, not dictator. Those words don't hold enough weight. You call a Trump supporter a Nazi, watch how offended they get. They apparently also get offended by being called a pedophile. I almost got in a fight with a guy in D.C. over that. But yeah, Sorry, not sorry at all. But let's talk about these dangerous Antifas. Here's
They're
Caroline
everywhere.
Levitt.
Also, could you please show the court where the Antifa touched you?
Right, where did Antifa touch you?
Is going to be designated a domestic terrorist organization. The president intends to sign that executive order very soon as it's drafted, as soon as today, later this afternoon.
Right.
And this is something the president campaigned on because we have seen a rise in violence perpetuated by Antifa radical people across this country who subscribe to this group.
Lie, it's not a group.
And unfortunately, it's gone widely uncovered by many in the legacy media.
Yeah, because it's not a real group.
Also was completely ignored by the previous administration. Not anymore. Not only, as you mentioned, were the bullet casings subscribed with Antifa mottos, if you will. And
those were not Antifa mottos. Fuck, the one round that had "Hey anti-fascist" catches from a fucking video game, you morons.
The heinous assassination of Charlie, but there have also been more examples than I could read off for you here in this briefing room today of violence from Antifa. I will just read a few. In July 2025, several members of an Antifa cell ambushed and opened fire on officers at an ICE facility.
Okay, so what they're doing is they're labeling anybody that puts a fight against Donald Trump, whether it be peaceful or otherwise, as Antifa. That's what they're going to do. This is how they're going to go after us. Every one of us that is not 100% with this bullshit, whether you voted or didn't vote, you're going to have to make a choice. Do you want to be a Nazi and go along with all this? Or do you want to stand for democracy and freedom and, rights for everybody? Because this is what we're up against. This is going to be a fight.
In Alvarado, Texas, shooting one officer in the neck. Also in July 2025, 3 Antifa members were charged with assaulting a police officer during a violent riot outside an ICE facility in Portland, which for weeks prior
Since there
had been
is no
under siege
linkage,
from
they
the local
can't
Antifa
use this
carousel.
as
In February 2024,
proof of anything.
I'll just mute her.
They can't use this as proof of anything because they can't say, well, this organization knew this happened and said this was going to do this over there and they were going to do that over there.
Mm-hmm. My worry is
also just because people hate Trump doesn't mean they belong to an organization.
I know they honestly think and the funny part is Antifa as a group. Antifa is a concept. It's not a group. But the fact that Antifa exists as a group, they only exist because the right wing made them up. They quite literally made the group up, Antifa. There is no group. Okay? We just are anti-fascist. Like I said, it's an American tradition until Donald Trump got elected. So, yeah, but this woman is a nightmare.
Hold on there, Sean.
I don't know how she sleeps.
These other violent left-wing groups that we've seen perpetuate.
What violent left-wing groups? What group? What violent left-wing groups is she referring to?
What, Meals on Wheels?
And I am so fucking sick of Fox News. Like, I'm ready to start a collective, civil lawsuit or whatever against Fox because they're going on TV saying they are trying to kill Donald Trump. They killed Charlie Kirk. Right. They, to the right, is us.
The beauty is they'll say, well, that's our license to say things in that way, where it's these people that are attacking him. Whatever.
Look,
it's all
one day it's got to come out that somebody in the Trump administration had Charlie Kirk killed. I'm convinced, thoroughly convinced, this had to go way up the food chain. And just watching how they behaved, the depravity, like you said, they barely even showed pictures of Charlie Kirk at his own memorial.
He wasn't on the flyer for it.
And I guess his wife was supposed to speak last, and Donald Trump was like, nope, I'm doing it. Bro. And then he started talking about fucking tariffs at a memorial. You can just feel the love, guys. You can just tell how much you guys really, really cared about Charlie Kirk while the ticker on the bottom is telling you to buy merch.
It's all right. The pyrotechnics were awesome.
I get right. And it just blows me away. They actually charged people to go to this freaking circus, dude. They charged people to attend a wake. That's disgusting. Enjoy hell, by the way. Enjoy hell. You have your new white Jesus, but white Jesus isn't real. Jesus was a Palestinian man. You're currently helping murder his people. So you're also taking food away from people where Jesus would feed the hungry. You're also taking medical insurance away from where Jesus would heal the sick. You're also talking about euthanizing homeless people where Jesus would give them a home. Explain to me on what fucking possible realm you think you're getting into heaven. And by the way, it's almost 10 o'clock at night. We only got 2 hours to go and no rapture. I'm pissed. I scheduled my whole day around the rapture. And I kept having to push my stuff back because I kept looking about, 10 o'clock, no rapture yet. Like, next time, give us, like, an exact time so we can, like, schedule our day and shit. But no, rapture. Today was supposed to be the rapture, in case you didn't know. All of MAGA, all the Nazis were supposed to go to heaven. And then it was supposed to be hell on earth. And honestly, hell on earth sounds so much better to me than living in a society full of Trump supporters and Nazis.
Who?
I would rather live in hell. Honestly, I mean, I feel like we are living in hell. Honestly, you've sucked the joy out of my life. I am so angry all the fucking time, bro. You have sucked the life out of me. And the more this goes on, the angrier I get. So, but I'm going to show you a video of why I'm pissed off. Because they're claiming Antifa is this thuggish terrorist group, right? Well, look, I want to show you what ICE does to Antifa, also known as peaceful protesters. It's a cute kitty. I can't wait to see her. We actually have a story behind the cat. That's pretty good. That's the most adorable little kitty. All right, so this is how ICE treats protesters. And you tell me in this scenario,
who's the asshole?
Who is the terrorist organization here?
We know.
So I don't know why they jumped on that guy. He threw something away, and then they beat the shit out of him. Tell me in that video, which side did you see the terrorists? Were they wearing masks and military-style uniforms, even though they're not in the military? So. Yeah, I think ICE is the terrorist organization. I think MAGA is a religious, extremist, domestic terrorist organization. We should have declared MAGA a fucking domestic terrorist group when Biden was in office. That's what should have been done. They should have been labeled a fucking hate group, because that's what they are. You're a nasty, you're literally like Satan's children.
Let's just say for 4 years, the attorney general we had was a big lazy piece of shit. So let's not go back on that.
Yeah, we can thank him for a lot of this shit, man. But I'm just so tired of them blaming us for all of the problems that they create. Again, this happened in Butler, and the fact that it happened again, that they blamed us immediately. I mean, seconds after it happened, we were being blamed for not only shooting Donald Trump, because I'm still not buying that shit. We're also being blamed for them. Still, even after it's been proven that no left-wing groups, it's been reported by newspapers, no left-wing groups are involved in the death of Charlie Kirk. And then Donald Trump buried a study that showed for a fact that right-wing violence is the problem in America, and it has been forever. The left ranks lower than Islamic extremism. The right's on top, okay? The domestic terrorists who cause all of the political violence almost in this country are on top, okay? The right wing, that's you guys. Then we have other Islamic terrorists. Right. And then the left. We are the least violent group of the entire study.
There's some whacked out crazy Buddhists that cause more problems.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we are quite literally, and we preach nonviolence. Like, why would we want violence?
This isn't about who has the capacity. It's about who historically has committed the most violence. Yeah. And it's the same as their push, their trans shooter bullshit, where in the past 10 years, there may have been 4 trans people, which is, who knows if that's even accurate or not. But the point is, out of the over 4,000 mass shootings in the last few years, even if 100 of them were trans people, how is that the group that you're going to target? It's all about the messaging. They want you to be afraid of the shadows of the boogeymen. They don't want you to be afraid of the people with the boots and the face coverings, the masks, and the military style uniforms that are going to come into your house and tell you how to behave and how to live and how to act. They want you to be afraid of the people that just want to live their life, the people that just want to be left alone.
Yeah,
that's how this works.
Report
your neighbor. Report your neighbor who's shy and scared and flies a rainbow flag. Report them. That's coming next.
You know, they always forget to mention that the one trans shooter up in Minnesota was very much into Nazism and right wing beliefs. If I'm not mistaken, they had the numbers and letters 6MWE on their weapon, which is also something that the Proud Boys use. I can show you shirts with Proud Boys wearing 6MWE.
And guess who most of ICE is made up of?
Yeah, Proud Boys and Patriots Front. So, yeah. But here, let's move on to Donald Trump being
the guys that keep getting locked in U-Hauls.
No shit. Yo, somebody told me, somebody posted on social media, we should all just start carrying padlocks around, and every time we see a vehicle full of ICE, just click. Stuck. Anyway, let's move on to Donald Trump embarrassing on the world stage.
Oh, fuck.
Well, this one, let's talk about the medical stuff first. Just to give you an example, we have they're trying to say autism is caused by Tylenol. This is not backed by any scientist, any medical professional. This is because they think Tylenol. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing, guys.
Just so you know, autism was first described in the early 1900s. Tylenol came out as a brand in the 50s. Okay. And the reason that the rise in the 80s and 90s of kids with diagnosed autism is because they reevaluated the diagnosis and expanded the definition. That's it. It didn't just come out of nowhere. It's always been here. We're just starting to understand it. And the more you understand something, sometimes you have to broaden and change the definition. Oh, boogity. Change your beliefs and understanding.
It's just being better diagnosed at an earlier age. That's it.
And also, by the way, if I had children, I'd rather my kid be on the spectrum than be a disgusting lunatic who has a worm in his brain who takes baths in raw sewage with his grandkids.
Yep. And thought heroin made him a better student. I forgot about that one for a second. All right, here's Donald Trump trying to say the word acetaminophen.
Effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that.
Well,
acetaminophen.
Hey,
is that okay?
There you go.
Hey, did it.
Is that okay?
Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol.
What was he asking?
During pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of
Listen
autism.
To the slurring. Listen to the screw up of word endings.
No clue, dude. These people are clueless. Okay, so then we go on to another clip where Trump feels that this is where it gets dangerous because he honestly thinks, and I've seen him do this before, well, he'll look at a scientist and be like, well, I think I know more. What? Like, are you kidding me? And then here he says, he actually says, this is not based on anything the doctors are saying. It's based on my common sense. Do not listen to these people, okay? Listen to your doctor. Do not listen to our health department right now because they're being run by fucking idiots, man.
So don't take Tylenol. Other things that we recommend, or certainly I do anyway, is, and it's so important to me to see the doctor 4 times or 5 times for a vaccine.
Don't
let them pump your baby up with the largest pile of stuff you've ever seen in your life going into the delicate little body of a baby. Even if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you just break it up into, I would say 5, but let's say 4 visits to the doctor instead of 1.
What?
And certain things I think you should do. We've already taken out and are in the process of taking out mercury and aluminum now. You know what mercury is. You know what aluminum is. Who the hell wants that pumped into a body?
Who wants copper in their body? Your blood is made of copper.
But we're having them taken out. We're having them taken out of the vaccines. Hepatitis B, again, that's sexually transmitted. And we think you should wait. I think you should wait till 12. You know, I'm just making these statements from me. I'm not making them from these doctors.
That's a very specific age.
They talk about, different results, different studies. I talk about a lot of common sense, and they have that too.
Okay, guys, so common sense is what we're going with. For medical advice, we're going to trust Donald Trump, who reads at a 5th grade level and has not read a single goddamn medical book in his entire life. We're going to trust that guy's common sense on medical issues. Are you mad? Just to prove a point here, they're saying mercury. Okay, mercury sounds bad, right? And it is. Unfortunately for Donald Trump, since 2001, hold up, I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. I tried to zoom in on the wrong screen. I have 2 screens I got to manage. Fuck. Hold on. Let me get it back to normal. Okay. So anyway, since what? 2001. Oh, look at that. All routinely recommended childhood vaccines in the United States have been thimerosal free or only contain trace amounts. Okay. So again, mercury hasn't been in vaccines since 24 years. And if there is, it's trace amounts. And the reason is to prevent bacteria growth. But the amount that is in the vaccine is not harmful to the human body. And it damn sure doesn't cause autism.
You know what's
that was
funny?
the thing,
Holy
too.
shit.
They always, remember, they thought the vaccines caused autism.
Here's a
Now
great
it's
comment.
Yeah.
Don't eat tuna, even though it's cheap, also too, because there's probably there's more mercury in tuna in a can of tuna than there is in a vaccine.
Oh,
we're not like banning tuna.
Yeah, easily. So, all right, we're running out of time here. So here's Donald Trump really embarrassing on the world stage. Here he goes up this golden escalator, and also his teleprompter stopped working. He got laughed at because he didn't know what to say.
He got laughed at. That was early. That was the start of the speech. That was before he said all the ridiculous, dumbass, jackassy, fucky stuff he said.
Right. So, and then he was going up an escalator, right? And right before him and Melania get on it, the escalator stops. And they look around like they don't know how to walk up steps. Like, watch their reaction. This is
how for which go up. Someone turned that off. Someone turned that off. I don't care.
Instead of just walking, they turn around and look around like somebody's supposed to do something about it.
Like they made it awkward. Like if that happens, just walk up the steps.
So embarrassing, man.
Look.
He is starting.
Go ahead.
He is starting an investigation into who turned off his escalator. I wish I was making that up. He's so mad. And by the way, the teleprompter, that's responsible for him. His people are responsible for that.
I just want to point out that escalator didn't just randomly stop.
Somebody stopped it. Somebody stopped it.
And I'm gonna be stuck on this for a while because if they never find out who that is, that person is a true hero.
Right. Or it could have just been somebody that hit the emergency stop button with their leg or something by accident. Like
it was probably Trump saw the red stop button and went, "Ooh, red button! I'll get a Diet Coke."
He's probably the one that hit it. He thought it was a Diet Coke button. Who stopped my escalator?
Where's my Diet Coke? Oh,
where's my Diet Coke?
Why aren't the stepping?
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Here is him truly embarrassing us on the world stage by telling all the other countries that they are going to hell.
And I'm really good at predicting things, you know. They actually said during the campaign they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. Proud to see this morning I have the highest poll numbers I've ever had.
He's talking about poll numbers.
They are feeding him fake information. I'm telling you. You can't convince me otherwise.
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is, man. Like, how can we possibly have somebody this stupid running the country?
Because we have that many people that are that stupid in this country.
You know, being a Nazi is one thing, but being a stupid Nazi, that feels more dangerous. You know what I mean?
It's far more dangerous.
You know what I mean? Because this guy, they don't care for human life whatsoever. But now we got this guy making medical decisions on vaccines and like Tylenol.
And
because of what, common sense? That's what we're going with. We're going to go with common sense. No, thank you. I will continue to listen to my medical professionals, not RFK Jr. My worry, though, is if we do have a massive outbreak, actually, it's not really a worry because natural selection may take its course. So if we have another outbreak, most of us are vaccinated. We'll be fine for the most part. Maybe it'll just wipe them out and solve our problem for us. Just the process of natural selection. You know what I mean? I know we're not that lucky, and we're going to have to deal with these people for years. But we're going to be here until they rip us off the air or throw us in some kind of prison for saying naughty things about Donald Trump and his people. So hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Had a really good time. Oh, I forgot to mention, I actually did go to see with Brandy, who was on our show before, with Election Truth Alliance and Smart Elections. She invited me to Wilkes-Barre, and we went to go see a presentation on how voting machines work and how secure they are. And honestly, I left there more concerned than when I went in. And now I have even more questions than when I went in. Like, it was not one of those situations. Like, I was hoping to go.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Write down those questions, and we'll have the two ladies back on from Election Truth Alliance and Smart Elections, and we'll go through it with them.
They asked, and I don't think they were ready for me and Brandy because you could tell they were getting annoyed immediately because we know what we're talking about. Because it was like us and like a few really, really old people that were probably just there to see how voting machines work. And then they were like, "Do you guys have any questions?" And you could tell they were just like not expecting it. Brandy's hand pops right up. And then my hand pops up, and I'm like, is there a nationwide standard on how these things are stored and protected between election cycles? Because it's different companies. It's not all the same voting machine company across the United States. Do they all have different standards? Who has access to these machines between elections? How vulnerable are they? You know what I'm saying? And they were you could tell they were ready to kick us out. After like 3 questions, they were getting really annoyed. But the one that Brandy asked that I felt very, very concerned about, I think this is why I left there extremely concerned. She asked if the Trump administration, because they have asked for, they've been threatening to just go in and take people's voter information. Take it. And Brandy asked if you were told to do something like that, would you hand that information over? And her response was, well, that's not my decision. But if my boss told me to do it, I would do what I'm told. Yep. So, like, even though it's illegal and unethical, you would still do it. You fucking twit. You idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you protecting democracy if you're just going to hand over all of our voter rolls information? You're not doing shit. You're not doing shit. You're worthless. You shouldn't even be working with the voting machines, period, if that's your attitude. You should have said, no, we would absolutely not do that because we feel the integrity of the voting systems and your information are extremely important. But no, they said, nah, we'll just do what we're told. Great. So now I'm even more freaked out about elections. As if I needed.
The more you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't unlearn things.
I'd rather be miserable and know what I'm talking about than ignorant and stupid and happy. Sorry. Uh-oh. Might cut out again. No. Jeremy.
Coming high. There we go. Sorry.
There you are.
Sorry. I don't know why that does that shit. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. We are off for the next couple days, but I will be back Friday with a very special guest that has not been on the show for a very long time. Lana Quest is going to be back on the show. One of my favorite people in the entire world, and I miss her, and I'm so glad that she's going to be back on the show.
Yeah, work with her to get her back more often, because we had a lot of fun with her back in the day.
Oh, yeah, she's so much fun to talk to.
Cool.
And she does not hold back, so she fits right in with us. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Love you guys. Please, if you can, subscribe, like, share, comment, all that happy horse shit. Helps us with the algorithm. And subscribing, of course, is totally free. Doesn't cost you a penny, but it helps us out quite a bit. Also, if you want to follow us on Instagram or not TikTok anymore, if you want to follow us, I'll just say Instagram. If you want to follow us on Instagram, all that information is in the link tree, which is in the description of this video or on our bio pages. Love you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I will be, of course, I made a bunch of videos the last few days. So if you want to see any work I do between now and then or anything Mike does between now and then, please follow us on Instagram. Love you guys. Have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you in a couple days.